first glance, it looks like pretty much an empty spreadsheet, and it kind of is, but it isn't. There is a secret mystery picture hidden inside of the Excel spreadsheet. So what you see in the column question, and I'll zoom in here just a little bit more for you guys. These are all equations that are in point slope form. So the y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And the directions are asking us to change it to slope intercept form. So we need to take each of these equations and convert them into slope intercept form. And, you know, the lousy thing about, well, there's lots of lousy things about us only meeting twice a week, but one of those lousy things is that we really only did this a couple of class periods ago, but in real time, that's like almost 2 weeks. We did this like if we were in regular school, we would have just done this, you know, like in the same week. So I get it's really easy to forget because we don't get to, you know, constantly revisit things like we would get to if we were in school 5 days a week. So I'm going to remind you exactly what we need to do to convert. If I were you, I would have a piece of paper handy, or I would take a screenshot of what I'm getting ready to write, because I'm giving you the answer to the first 2 problems that are on here. So my first equation is y minus 5. Sorry about my 5s are really ugly, guys. So y minus 5 equals 2 times x plus 3. If you're asking me a question, by the way, guys, I'll need you to ask me out loud for a second. When I write on the screen like this, it freezes the whole screen. So if you're asking me another question, just speak up real quick, please. Lillian, you're always really good at that. If you see somebody ask a question, let me know. Pretty please and thank you. While I'm doing this part. So we're trying to get this point slope to be slope intercept form. So as a reminder of what slope intercept form is, y equals mx plus b. So we want to get this to look like that. So you might recall it was a 2-step process that we needed to do in order to make that happen. The first issue is that we don't have parentheses in slope intercept form. So we got to get these parentheses out of here. The way we're going to accomplish that is by using the distributive property. So we're going to take that 2 and we're going to distribute. Remember, that means multiply. We're going to distribute it times the numbers that are in, well, actually number and variable, I should say, that's in the parentheses. So 2 times x is going to be a 2x, and then 2 times negative 3. Remember, negative and subtraction means the same thing. So that's going to be minus 6. So now that we've gotten rid of those parentheses, I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem. The other difference between point slope and slope intercept, so we got rid of the parentheses, but then the variable, the y, should be all by itself. It should be isolated. So that means that that minus 5 needs to go. How do we get rid of a minus 5? We get rid of it with a plus 5. Of course, that is going to cancel. That's going to leave me with a y. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other, but what I'm writing in red is wrong. You're not going to add 5 here. First of all, it's a variable and a, well, actually, that's the big reason. It's a variable and a number. You can't add those together. So we're not going to add 5 there. We're going to add 5 here. So we've got the y isolated. The 2x just stays put because we didn't do anything to that. And then negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. I'm going to pause here for a second in case anybody's writing. And then I'll show you how you can use the format of the homework to make sure that you did it right. Anybody still need a minute? All right, so I've got my answer. So let's check it and see whether or not we did it correctly. So I'm going to type in the cell next to it that says answers. Carl, it's this one right here that says Tuesday night homework is the one we're working on right now. But we're going to go to the classwork here in just a minute. But the Tuesday night homework right here is the one I'm talking about right now, sir. All right, so I've got my answer. I want to check and see if it's right. So I'm going to do y equals 2x minus 1. If it's correct, well, actually, let me show you what happens if it's not correct. So let me put in the wrong answer. If it's not correct, nothing happens. See, look, nothing changed, right? So you know you did something incorrect. If I type in the correct answer, when I hit enter, part of the little mystery picture appears. So there's going to be a little piece of pixel art here. And so every single time you get the answer correct, another little few pieces of that picture are going to appear. So you know you did it correctly. Make sure that you've got your work shown. Last week, your homework, there wasn't really a lot of work to show. You just had to type it in there. This time, I do need to see what were those 2 steps that you did to get from point slope to slope intercept. So now I want to do question number 2 because question number 2 involves a fraction. So we know that the first thing, I'll write it up here on the board in a second, but we know the first thing we're going to want to do is get rid of those parentheses, which means that we're going to need to multiply 2/3 or negative 2/3 times negative 3 in just a second, okay? Because when I distribute, I'll have to do negative 2/3 times 3 because that is part of what's in the parentheses. I wish so badly that we had time to go over our number rules, and we just don't. So remember, that's why, and I said I was going to move this to the top, and I lied, so let me go ahead and do that while I'm talking. Underneath this section on Google Classroom, I'm scooting it to the top of your stream right now, where it says helpful tools and links. I gave you guys a really fantastic calculator that helps you to work with fractions. I suggest you keep it open for today also, because it's really going to come in handy, because we are going to be dealing with fractions today. So I think I'm getting it a little closer to the top here. Well, I'm getting there. Okay, I'll finish moving it to the top later when I'm not wasting your time. So right there is the link for that online scientific calculator. So open that up. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that multiplication problem I need to do. So I need to do negative 2/3 times negative 3. So just a reminder about how this little graphing calculator works. This little scientific calculator. So right there underneath the wrench is the fraction button. So I would type the fraction, negative 2, it would help if I typed in the right number, negative 2 over 3 is how you do negative 2/3. Scoot the little cursor, hit the little arrow button so that the cursor gets out to the side, times, and we're multiplying it by negative 3. So see right here, it does the math for you. So negative 2/3 times negative 3 is 2. If operations with fractions are not your strong suit, or really operations with anything, to be honest, use that calculator. Eventually, when we get back to 5 days a week, we will get into more like number sense and kind of getting that. But unfortunately, we just don't have time right now for that. So back to converting this to slope-intercept form. So to get rid of those parentheses, I'm going to do negative 2/3 times x. So that's just going to be negative 2/3 x. Negative 2/3 times negative 3, we established with that graphing calculator, is 2, or I don't know why I keep saying graphing calculator. Scientific calculator is 2. And because it's a positive 2, we need to do plus 2. Bring down the y plus 5. We still need to get that y by itself. So we need to subtract 5 from both sides. Sorry, I don't know why my hand... My 5s are literally the worst, you guys. I'm so sorry. All right, so if I cancel out those 5s, that leaves me with a y equals negative 2/3 x, doesn't change, and then 2 minus 5 is minus 3. Again, use that calculator. I'm going to pause here for a second in case anybody needs a screenshot or is writing this down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and unfreeze it. Let's check our answer. So I'll type in y equals, remember to use the little front slash for a fraction. So I'll do y equals negative 2 front slash 3x and then minus 2. And then, bam, more of the picture showed up. So we know, I'm sorry. Oops, minus 3. No, more of the picture didn't pop up. That's how I knew I did something wrong. There we go. 3, and bam, more of the picture popped up. So now we know we've done it right. So just attach your work somewhere to the assignment, and you're good to go. And there's the first 2. So yeah, so for the work, I'm not telling you what it is yet. So for the work, yeah, ma'am, so you're just going to do your work on paper. I did have a couple kids that asked me if they could just type their steps, like, right in here. And, I mean, I don't see why not. It might get in the way of the picture. But, Alyssa, I think the easiest thing is just to show your steps on paper. Yeah, and then just upload a copy of your paper to the assignment. I think that would be the easiest thing. All right, anybody got any excellent questions about the homework? Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get to that classwork now. So while I'm waiting for you guys, I'm gonna scoot this calculator up to the top here. So Tuesday classwork, remember to log in with Google. You'll know you're in the right spot if you get to something that looks like this.